Carl asks a question that's really a question I deal with more and more in my career now. My big question for you is around goal setting. Now, before I even get started, I want to make sure, folks, that if you pay me money to help you, we will talk about goal achievement much more than goal setting. I make the same joke all the time. You know, what are your goals? I want to ride a unicorn. Oh, okay, that's a great goal, but there's a problem. You know, if you know, we got green alligators and long geese, some humpyback camels, and some chimpanzees, some rats and bats and elephants, and sure as you're born, don't you forget we don't have unicorns. Okay, so even though you can say that as a goal, there's no meat behind it. Okay. I get this a lot, you know, with high school kids. They want to play in the National Basketball Association, be Mr. Olympia, and, you know, fly to the moon. I mean, those are all achievable goals. Those are all difficult to do. So how do you approach goal setting in the absence of an upcoming competition? How do you determine the priority and internal validity of these goals? Boy, in other words, this is what Carl's saying. Dan, would you give me everything you do in the 12 weeks of the inner circle that you spend hours every week helping people with? How do you determine the priority and internal validity of these goals? That's a tough one. Okay. I know you've talked about it some in your lectures, but it's something in which way I've been struggling. For example, I want to get stronger, so should I bulk or at least eat enough food? But I want to get leaner, so should I cut? But I don't want to lose strength. I thank you, Carl, for your candid honesty there. I just love it. This is the most common. I want to be the biggest, strongest man in the world, but I want to be 4% body fat, and I want to, high jump 8 feet. Well, okay, and I don't know if you could do them all. I ended up doing a bit of everything, which does very little to accomplish any of the goals. Isn't that true? You know, if you, what do they say, minor in the majors, it's real tough. I've tried to set goals, but I find that I often work against myself, telling me what I am settling down on paper is different from what is in my head. Do you have any advice for how to prioritize goals? Well, okay, so this is what we do in the inner circle. So I'll give you a summary. I certainly can't give you, because I don't have the time to give you everything, but let me give you some big ones. Brian Gwaltney gave me this assignment a couple of years ago. We're having a conversation about what should I do in my life. And he said you should write out your perfect day. And it was fascinating because later I shared with my friend Patrick. I said, yeah, he said, write out your perfect day. And Patrick said to me, well, what's your perfect day? And I said, well, I don't get up with an alarm clock. And we both kind of laughed for a minute. And then he said, explain that. And then I basically explained that for me to get up without an alarm clock means I went to bed at a reasonable hour. I made my to-do list. I got coffee set for when I wake up in the morning. I wake up to the smell of coffee. It's not really an alarm clock, but it works. I wasn't an idiot the night before. I didn't drink 3 bottles of Jack Daniels. I went to bed at a decent hour. I got a great night's sleep. I woke up. After I woke up, I started my day. This isn't coffee, it's delicious tea. But I started my day with a cup of coffee, a glass of water. I looked at my to-do list. I took care of 1 or 2 items I might need to do. Boom, boom, boom. That's how, to me, my perfect day was so simple in my head, and I just kind of went through. And then the idea is that most of my days, and this is going to sound kind of mean for some people, but most of my days are perfect days. So on the back of my computer here, and I've talked about it before online, I have this thing called my pirate map, phrase I get from Pat Flynn. And a pirate map is, go to St. John's Island, find the white coconut tree, take 7 paces to the west, dig down, there's the sunken treasure. A pirate map is a list of about 5, it can go up to 8 things that you're going to do each and every day. Number 1 for me starts the night before. I make my to-do list, I make coffee, I review my 2 big goals, which will come back. I'll do it right now. I don't believe that you can I have a lot of goals in my life, true, but I have 2 big goals, and if I take care of those 2 big goals everything else works. I have a financial goal and I have a physical goal. If I'm taking care of those two, I want to dance at Josephine's wedding, my granddaughter. Well, if I take care of my financial goals and my physical goals, those wind up 20 years from now, me dancing at her wedding. We'll come back to those in a minute. But even before we get into the perfect day, as we step back from the perfect day, I mean, you have yours, I have mine. Now we throw some things at it. First off, does that fit with your values? And one of the first assignments we do in the inner circle is a values assignment. Now listen, a lot of people fall back and say, my values are faith and family. And listen, there are some people who I'll allow that with. I've got a few people in my life, but sometimes you just say that because it's nice. And when you say my values are faith and family, everyone goes, I took mine very seriously. My two key values are order and fitness. And it cracked me up because it took me a long time to realize that I've been in love with fitness and weightlifting and all this stuff since 1965. I've been in love with it. And if you know anything about me, order is a big thing in my life. I declutter. Of course, I look at my desk right now and I go, that's not very ordered. Now I have to be careful because now my brain wants to clean my desk. But when I coach people, they always think everything's just kind of fun and storytelling and laughs. And then other coaches will watch and go, oh my God, you went through a list of 75 things. Right, because that's the way my brain works. Those are my two key values. So do my values support my pirate map? Well, first off, my pirate map goes in order. 1, I wake up, night before, I do the night before things. 2, I wake up, I meditate, I drink my coffee. At every meal I eat, I try to eat 8 different vegetables every day. At every meal I eat vegetables. I lift weights 3 days a week, I ruck 1 day a week. I do an hour of tonic work, original strength 1 day a week. I walk daily. The last one is try every day to make a difference in the world. Make a difference. Okay. I do those in order, most of them are about fitness. If I take care of my fitness and I do things when I'm supposed to do them, that takes care of my business. The next thing after that is your habits. Now, I'm a big believer in something called shark habits. I got that from Rob Wolf. And it's the idea of one bite and it's gone. For those of you who email me, I email you right back. You call me on the phone, I call you right back. You text me, I text you right back, because that is a shark habit for me. One of my athletes the other day asked me about why I always wear these black V-neck shirts. And I said, well, because I have almost 26 of them as my last count, but there were some in the dryer. I buy these shirts, they're very inexpensive, so I don't have to think. And if I don't have to think about what I'm wearing, that frees up some of my brain space to coach you better as an athlete, or be a better neighbor, be a better dad or grandfather. So my habits support my perfect day. Coach Mon told me in 1977, make yourself a slave to good habits. And I've never heard any better advice in my life than that. Ever. It's just an absolute truism. And then the next thing we talk about is, what is your X? And I always do that with X. For those of you listening, I'm making an X with my forearms. Everybody has that thing in their life that is their curse. Mine changes. Recently, I found myself scrolling a lot. And the reason I noticed that is that people pointed out to me, and I just caught myself and I said, how did I do that? How did I go from really never scrolling on my phone to start scrolling? Well, it's because your social media things are designed to hold your brain in there. And as smart as I think I am, I couldn't overcome it. So for me, to deal with too much scrolling, I bought myself a couple of cheap watches that look good with my various clothes. Very inexpensive, very reasonable. And because I'd noticed I often use my phone to tell time. So I also sprinkle around the house some things called clocks. I make the joke all the time. Yes, you young people wouldn't know what that is. But with watches and clocks, I don't open my phone to find out what time it is. I go like this. Maybe it's alcohol. Maybe it's maybe it's red wine. Maybe it's it's the candy bowl in your office. Maybe it's a certain donut shop that's near your house. Find out what your X is and do your best. Then you run those habits through your perfect day. If you tell me alcohol is your problem, let's just say, alcohol is my problem. I know when I drink, I get fat. When I drink, I get mean. Whatever it is. And your perfect day is, I wake up and I have a Bloody Mary with my feet up on a couch, and then I have mimosas, and then at noon, it's beers at noon with my friends, and then the afternoon starts at 3. We have white wine at 3, like this, rosé at 4, and red wines at 5, and then after that, very expensive scotches. Well, your X is in the way of your perfect day. Your habits can be in the way of your perfect day. And then, of course, your standards and values and everything else could be in the way of your perfect day. So for me, goal setting starts off with you telling me what is your perfect day. Then, okay, hold on, I'm getting there. Then we do the 5-2 assignment, where we talk about what are your goals 2 decades from now, 2 years from now, 2 months from now, and then, of course, where the pirate map shows up and shark habits, today and tomorrow. All this is in my goal achievement course in danjohnuniversity.com. Well, the bulk of it is. I mean, a lot of this stuff changes. The better I get at, the more I add. After you do the perfect day, after you kind of wash through your values, you wash it through your standards, you wash it through your habits, what your X is. When you think about yourself 2 decades from now, 2 years from now, 2 months from now, today and tomorrow, then we kind of fold our arms like this, and we nod, got to fold your arms. You got to do that knowing nod. You got to look at each other. And then we say, okay, if you got your body weight up, you bulked up to 350 pounds, so you'd be the strongest guy in the Murray Rec Center weight room. Does that tie into your goals 2 decades from now? Well, I don't know. That's a question 2 years from now. If you want to be a Division I athlete and you're a sophomore in high school, listen to me right now. 2 years from now, you will be either on your way to your goal or not going to your goal, and you're going to have to change plans. One of the nice things about doing this kind of look into the future kind of assignment, so the 5-2 is you're kind of looking into the future, and then the perfect day is what you think presently is a perfect day for you. But then you link back to, well, what are my values? Why do I think that's important? Here are some lessons from my past that I kind of need to pay a little bit of attention to, and you just kind of march through it a little bit. So your values, your X, and all your habits will inform yourself today about your perfect day. And the nice thing is, and this is something I really try to emphasize to people, is it's your perfect day. It's yours. And my perfect day is not the same as yours. My perfect day involves, playing trivia with my daughter and my team. My perfect day involves hanging out with Meryl and Joyce at the senior center at the Thursday night dance, and all of our friends there. And, my perfect day involves, taking the dogs for a walk or dealing with my beehives. Not a lot of that. And of course, the ability to travel when I feel like it and enjoy travel when I do it. So I would spend a little bit of time thinking about all these things, and then do the fold your arm thing, the knowing nod thing, and say, okay. And I can almost guarantee, if you get a chance, that you'll have clarity on what you want. And once you know what you want, man, that makes it a lot easier to get it. Now, it's true. If you want a Nobel Prize or a Pulitzer or an Oscar, or, those things get voted on in life, that's going to be tough. But anything that's not voted on is pretty achievable. Obviously, an Olympic gold medal or a world record is going to be tough too, but you hang around long enough and you can break a gold medal, at least, you can break a world record. Like if you stick around long enough in track and field, you could be the fastest 100-year-old, 1,500 meter runner in the world. You got the world record. If you hang in there long enough. So I hope that helps. That was a lot of explanation, a lot of time, but boy, I think it's worth it. I know a lot of people don't listen the full way through some of my things I say. You know, we can see it with the, the numbers on the thing. But this is one of those ones, it's worth your time to consider, think about. Go to danjohnuniversity.com, take the goal setting class, maybe even reach out and join the inner circle. I mean, there's some tools I've shared with you very quickly that really can give you a lot of clarity and simplify goal achievement for you. That's my goal in goal achievement, is to make it simpler for you to achieve them. Thank you. A good question.